Yo, it's your boy Bernard, and welcome to another episode of the Angry Blurred Podcast, where I'll be discussing everything nerdy that has caught my eye this week. Unfortunately, I do have to start on a somber note. I have to give a rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. And I know a lot of people are probably feeling the same way as Samir did. Like, yo, why are you giving a rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner? He was in geek culture. That is true, but Malcolm Jamal Warner also was a individual who was in our lives, like from the Cosby Show, Malcolm and Eddie. He did appear on Sesame Street a few times, ABC After School specials. He also had a reoccurring role on the Magic School Bus. So that's how he gets the geek culture pass. So he was on the original version of the show. He was also on who was it, Netflix? I believe Netflix brought it back a couple years ago. And Robot Chicken. He was also on, you could just look up Malcolm Jamal Warner's filmography. He was everywhere. He actually passed away at the age of 54 on the 20th in Costa Rica. He was in Limon Province on a family vacation. He went for a swim and he got pulled into a riptide. And someone attempted to save his life, but unfortunately, after 45 minutes of CPR, he was pronounced dead at the scene. July 20th, we lost Ozzy Osbourne, who had just wrapped up his farewell reunion tour with his band Black Sabbath. We all know Ozzy Osbourne for being in the band Black Sabbath. A lot of people may know him from the show The Osbournes that was on MTV like in the early 2000s. You may even know him for being in Little Nicky for a quick minute. Yeah, he passed away due to the complications of, I believe, Parkinson's. But yeah, I was surprised because I knew Ozzy wasn't doing well, but 17 days after your last performance is just kind of insane. Like, I'm trying to put together, like, the things that Ozzy Osbourne has been in that are geek related outside of like Little Nicky. He did an ad for World of Warcraft back in the day, which was it was hilarious at the time. He was also in Romeo and Juliet, Austin Powers and Goldmember, Moulin Rouge, Sherlock Gnomes. He was in 2016's Ghostbusters, apparently. Fish Hooks, South Park, Private Parts, which was the Howard Stern movie. But yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne, who was, 76, I believe he was? Yes. Also, Chuck Mangione passed away. Jazz musician. A lot of people may not know his music. You may not even know the name. The one hit that everyone knows is "Feel So Good" because it's played pretty much almost everywhere you go, where like they're playing like saxophone music. He also appeared on King of the Hill. He was in Magnum P.I. as well. He played himself on King of the Hill, where he was basically a spokesperson for Megalomart, which was Megalomart, if you don't know, was basically a jab at Walmart. So they basically had him in a crappy type of contract where he had to go around the country to every grand opening of a Megalomart, to the point where Dale came up with the conspiracy that Chuck Mangione was living in the Megalomarts, which actually turned out to be true. So I'm actually going to post that clip of Dale and Chuck Mangione having a conversation about that.
Gotcha, Mr. Adult Contemporary. I did it! I caught Chuck Mangione! What in the hell? Oh, you're just the kids from the music department.
He totally thought we were Chuck Mangione, bro. We tooled you big time. Oh, you were such a tool.
I blew it. All my exterminator's instincts were wrong. I'm not fit to live on this earth, let alone kill the things that live on this earth.
Oh, you know what we should do? Dude, we should dress him up in ladies' lingerie, take him to the photo department, and make him sit on our laps.
Let's just shave his head like we planned.
Come out, wherever you are. You can run, but you can't hide.
All right, now who are you? Take off the mask and quit mocking me.
Ouch! Watch the lip, man.
It's you. It's really you. So I'm not crazy. But you are.
You let a mongoose out in the store.
You're living in a toilet paper fort.
Let's agree to disagree.
Chuck, I don't get it. What are you doing here? This is a long way from the Merv Griffin show.
When I signed the contract to be the Megalomart spokesman, I didn't read it carefully. I have to be at every store opening, and they open 400 stores a year. I haven't had time to record or tour or give my old lady any slow, sweet lovin' in years. So I disappeared to the last place they'd ever look for me. I've been living here rent-free, eating their Cheerios, playing their video games, and trying on their underpants. Anything to stick it to the man.
You chewed up the security camera wires?
It was necessary so I could come and go as I pleased.
But what about the droppings? There were droppings all over the place.
Make those megalo chumps pick 'em up. They owe me.
Right on. Keeping it real.
God, man, that ain't no deal, man.
Sure sounds like your friends need you, Dale.
They do, Chuck.
Wait, every aisle has a hollow passage with openings at the discount flags. Use it.
Look here, I don't know what you two are hopped up on, but it's going to wear off and you're going to be very regretful about your actions.
Can't breathe.
Gentlemen, the infestation is over. Except for the mongoose, but I'm sure he's found a new home.
Thanks for the recommendation, Hank. If I'd have called Pest Pro, they would have just sprayed in here and I'd have some parents of dead teens suing me. Nice work, Gribble.
Yeah, nice work, Gribble. Chuck Mangione in the Megalomart.
Yeah, man, that ain't old Dale, man. Chuck Mangione, I'd probably out down in Hollywood right now, man. Probably sticking that old horn to that mini driver, man.
Yeah, my mistake. Silly me.
Look, it might not have been Chuck Mangione, but he found the pests and took care of the problem. Dale, I'd recommend you any time. Sorry I doubted you. What was that?
Muzak. Just Muzak.
Which is one of my, that's actually one of my favorite episodes of King of the Hill. But yeah, rest in peace to Chuck Mangione. Passed away July 22nd at the age of 84. So lived a long life. All right. Now the complicated one. Hulk Hogan. This one is very complicated for me. So, as a kid from the 80s, I'm pretty sure a lot of us grew up watching wrestling. We were all Hulkamaniacs. I'm actually, funny story. My dad was actually the one who got me into wrestling. He actually got me into a lot of the things that have lingered from childhood to now. So, like wrestling, he is partially responsible for my addiction to comic books, Transformers, things of that nature. I actually remember it may have been like my 7th or 8th birthday. I was already in West Palm, and he bought me a Hulk Hogan and a Colossus action figure. I'm actually going to post a photo here. And I don't even know how I remember this, but maybe the photo is the trigger that keeps it in my brain. But I remember sitting at the kitchen table on my birthday playing with those action figures. And I let Hulk Hogan beat Colossus in a fight. And so yeah, I was a Hulk Hogan fan up until about 2012 or so. I even watched Hogan Knows Best like in the mid 2000s when it aired on VH1. So around 2012, Hulk Hogan was recording on video after having an affair with his friend's wife, saying a bunch of racist stuff regarding, people of my skin color, because he didn't want his daughter Brooke dating any black people. He obviously said that he was a racist on video. He dropped the N-word with the hard ER, and that was the day Hulkamania died for me. And everyone was trying to give him, grace and whatnot. But even WWE was like, yeah, no, we got to distance ourselves from this. Like, this one girl I follow on Instagram, she posted about it, and a lot of people just either didn't know this stuff, that Hogan was actually fired from the WWE and they removed him from the website. Like, he was literally like blacklisted, shadow banned, whatever you want to call it, from like WWE. So like, if you went on WWE between like 2012 and 2018, they treated him basically like Chris Benoit, and he didn't kill nobody. He like, they just put like blank spots of where like his hall of his wrestling record was for like championship days and things like of that nature, and he was reinstated in 2018. And I didn't forget it, but I slowly started to accept that Hulk Hogan was going to be back in the world of WWE. So, like it or not, I was going to have to see him whenever I watched the WWE event. Like, perfect example was last year, 2 years ago, when they had, I believe it was the Royal Rumble in Pensacola. He was all throughout the promos and everything like that. But then, this past election, Hogan went full MAGA, and WWE didn't shudder away from him, but that basically killed the legend of Hulk Hogan. So, like Harvey Dent said in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So when Netflix did their partnership deal with WWE in January, Hogan was getting ready to release his own beer called Real American Beer. And WWE had obviously supported that because he was a big part of the company. He basically kept it afloat, so I won't discredit him from that. But came out to promote it, literally got booed out before he can even get a word out. I might even see if I can find that and splice that in right here or something like that. But like, yeah, he killed Hulkamania himself. But he passed away on the 24th, which coincidentally was 10 years after his original release from WWE on July 24th. So yeah, I mean, after the whole sex tape and the Gawker lawsuit, I really stopped being a fan, and I slowly, over the years, like found out that like one of my heroes really wasn't that good of a person, not just the MAGA stuff. Like, even watching the Mr. McMahon documentary last year, you found out that Hulk Hogan more or less was a company man who wanted things to stay the way they were. So like, Jesse Ventura, who eventually became a governor, was trying to get the wrestlers to unionize because they are being overworked and underpaid. And Hogan went and snitched to Vince and basically got Jesse Ventura fired. So a lot of people say, sometimes you got to separate the art from the artist. And when it's something like this, it's kind of hard to separate the art from the artist because, yeah, we all grew up liking Hulk Hogan and, we would always do the flex pose and what you gonna do and ripped our shirts to the point where our parents were like, I'm not buying you no more shirts. So Hulk Hogan is a very complicated individual for me. I am giving him a rest in peace. Like I said, he was a big part of childhood, from Thunder in Paradise, which was basically Knight Rider on a boat. Rocky, 2? I'm sorry, Rocky 3, No Holds Barred, Gremlins, Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny. He was in Spy Hard, which is like one of my favorite Leslie Nielsen movies. It might have been the first Leslie Nielsen movie I ever saw. Three Ninjas, High Noon, and Mega Mountain, which I believe was the fourth Three Ninjas movie with his bad toupee, Muppets from Space. He did a movie called The Ultimate Weapon, Romeo and Juliet, Little Hercules, Baywatch, Walker, Texas Ranger, Robot Chicken, China, Illinois. Check that show out if you can still find it on. I don't know if it's on HBO Max. But yeah, so like I said, it's a very complicated history with Hogan for me. But yeah, so gotta give rest in peace to those 4 individuals. All right, let's get into my stories. So James Gunn has been on a lot of press since Superman has come out. He did his last interview with the Happy, Sad, and Confused podcast. And, he talked about a few things. Like, one of the main things he talked about was Creature Commandos. Although season 2 was greenlit, he also said that... What was that? He is not writing season 2. He also talked about having to give the news to Henry Cavill that he was fired. So in the same podcast, I listened to it earlier this week. The day he got hired was the day that they also announced that Henry Cavill was returning because of a certain Samoan individual who is 6'5", 275 pounds from Miami, Florida. Said the hierarchy of the DC universe was going to change. The Rock was basically trying to make a play to basically be the lead of the DC universe, hence the reason why he was doing all this stuff. And he was pretty much quiet since, the bombing of Black Adam. And he also said the whole Henry situation was unfortunate, but he is open to having Henry play a role in the DCU. What is it? He doesn't know yet. I mean, he brought Jason Momoa back as Aquaman. Not as Aquaman, as Lobo. So it's always a possibility that, some people can come back and play other roles. He also talked about in that same interview how when they did the test screenings for Superman, everyone was mad that Superman saved a squirrel. Okay, if you have ever read a Superman comic, that is something Superman would do. Hell, you can even go back to Superman 78. This scene also has a little bit of child abuse in it. Superman gets a cat out of a tree for a girl. And where the child abuse comes in is after Superman gives the cat back to the girl goes in the house and says, Mommy, Superman got the cat out the tree. And I'm just going to put the clip here. Warner Brothers can flag me. I don't care anymore.
Hi, I'll get him. Come on. It's all right. Here you go, miss.
Gee, thanks, mister.
Oh. Bye, Frisky. Come on now. Bye.
Bye. Mommy! Frisky was stuck in the tree. This man swooped out of the sky and gave him to me. Haven't I told you to stop telling lies?
Anymore. He also talked about originally wanting Bradley Cooper to play Lex Luthor. But Bradley said, you know what? I appreciate the offer, James, but I really feel like maybe you should get somebody a little bit younger for this role. So, yeah, he got him to play Jor-El instead. And so, he was like, you know what? It's probably best to get somebody younger. Because Marlon Brando, I believe, was like in his late 60s, early 70s. He also revealed that he originally turned down DC's offer to write a Superman movie after the Suicide Squad. So yeah, I mean, we got a lot of nuggets out of. Check out the Happy Sad Confused podcast. I believe the interview was like an hour long or something like that, and they only had like, I want to say, like maybe 2 ad breaks. But yeah, it was a good episode of a podcast I don't really listen to like that. But speaking of ad breaks, here's mine. Dubby, you know what to do. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task. And go to Dubby.gg and use my promo code AngryBlurred10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's Dubby.gg with promo code AngryBlurred10. Did you enjoy your Dubby? I really hope you did. Anyway, next story. Kevin Feige was talking to the Hollywood Reporter about the future of the MCU and things of that nature. So one of the things he talked about was Blade and the troubled production that had happened. So he said actually there were 4 separate takes on the character and what it was going to be. He said 2 were set in the past and 2 were set in present modern day. He said 1 would have been set in the Prohibition era and was enough. It was far enough that they started doing the costumes for like background characters and things like that, which they eventually gave to Ryan Coogler for Sinners. And they said that the version now that's being developed has landed on a modern day, and we will see Mahershala Ali do more than just put on a leather outfit and have him start killing vampires. And he said we didn't want to do that to Mahershala, and he didn't want to do that to us. You can start to have a good script and make it a great script through production, but we didn't feel confident we could do that with Blade. And he also confirmed that Ryan Coogler is not in the running to be the new director on Blade, despite the fact that everyone was like, yo, get Ryan to do this because he did Sinners. He also said that Sony said, y'all can't touch Miles Morales until Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. Because everyone's like, nah, we want Miles in the MCU. But can't touch him. He also said that the current Marvel roadmap stretches out to 2032, and the X-Men are part of those plans, and that they will all be recast. So James Marsden, Famke Janssen, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, maybe even Hugh Jackman, all gone. And that the X-Men movie will indeed be directed by Jake Schreier, who directed Thunderbolts. And at the end of Secret Wars, it will basically reset the Marvel Universe, as well as the Fantastic Four. But he also said this isn't a reboot. So everything that has happened before has still happened, but Captain America, Iron Man, those people can come back as younger characters, which, might cause a little bit of revolt because everyone loves Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. People loved Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. So it's just like, what are you gonna do? I don't know, but I haven't given up on Marvel. I'm not one of those people who be like, the MCU is dead, the MCU is back, the MCU is dead, the MCU is back. Yes, everything goes through peaks and valleys. I mean, perfect example of that. You can look at any franchise, Fast and the Furious, Alien, Predator, Lethal Weapon 3 isn't as good as 1 and 2. I don't really know that many franchises. Like Rush Hour 3 isn't as good as 1 and 2. But yeah. Anyway, next story. Related to DC. Booster Gold, one of the greatest hero you've never heard of. This was announced as a TV series when James Gunn did his Chapter 1 announcement. So it looks like we're finally getting some progress on this. So the guy who created Our Flag Means Death on HBO Max, David Jenkins, has signed on to write the pilot. And if James Gunn and Peter Safran like the pilot, it's possible that he will run the show. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of backstory on Booster Gold. So Booster Gold is an individual by the name of Michael Carter, who is a fame-seeking superhero from the 25th century who comes to the present day to build up his superhero profile by staging high-profile heroics. So he's usually teamed up with Ted Kord, aka the second Blue Beetle. If you want like episodes of stuff where you can see Booster Gold, you can check out Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Justice League Action. There was also a Booster Gold episode of Smallville. Donald Faison was supposed to play Booster Gold on Legends of Tomorrow in the 7th season, but they canceled it with season 6. But yeah, Booster Gold is one of my favorite heroes because he does eventually get rid of the ego of trying to be the greatest hero you ever heard and kind of turns it into a charade. So he basically protects the time stream while also making himself look like an idiot to everyone else. So, you know, like the way like Bruce Wayne would do something dumb, like to keep someone safe, like perfect example in The Dark Knight. The guy who works at Wayne Enterprises, who coincidentally is from West Palm, who gets on TV and gets ready to tell everyone that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Bruce drives a car in front of a truck that's getting ready to hit the police escort that he's in. So Booster Gold does things like that. So yeah, can't wait to see it. I also got to meet one of the co-creators of Booster Gold, Keith Giffen, before he passed away was it last year or was it 2 years ago? Man, time is just bleeding. Keith Giffen wrote him in Justice League International. He didn't create him. That was Dan Jurgens. But yeah, like I said, I cannot wait to check out the Booster Gold stuff. All right, short story. Wednesday is coming back in about a week or so. August 6th, actually, so 2 weeks. For part 1, because Netflix just doesn't want to do weekly drops. No, they just want to give us stuff in little increments. Just switch to weekly drops, because I'm dropping 3 episodes here, 3 episodes here, and 3 episodes here. It's just dumb. They already announced a 3rd season, which probably at this point won't be out until 2030, because season 1 of Wednesday came out, 2022? I don't even know. Was it 2022? Season 1, oh yes, 2022, November 2022. So yeah, 3rd season of Wednesday, 2030. Be on the lookout for that. All right, next story, another small one. The Wonder Woman movie that is being written, that's probably going to spin out of Paradise Lost, will be written by Anne Naguar, who wrote Supergirl and who is also working on the Teen Titans movie at the moment. She is writing a lot of stuff for DC at the moment. Like I said, she wrote Supergirl, Teen Titans, and now Wonder Woman. So hopefully, all these movies are good. I saw some incel dude like, oh, it's written by a woman. It's not going to be good. Shut up forever. All right. I told you guys about Invincible season 4 and Matthew Rhys being cast in the movie. I mean, not in the movie, in the series. So San Diego Comic-Con is currently going on. I told you guys I was going to wait a week, but some of this stuff can't wait. It has been announced that Matthew Rhys will be portraying none other than Dinosaurus. So the Invincible page made a post that said, Invincible can now confirm Matthew Rhys is voicing Dinosaurus. And here's our first look at the character design. Source, trust me, bro. So I'm going to post this here. I had a feeling it was going to be him or Thrag. And I was leaning more on Thrag. But Thrag probably won't show up till the end of the season. But yes. So Dinosaurus kind of has like a Hulk type of situation with him. Just watch the show or try to read the comics. And I'm not saying try to read the comics like they're dull and boring. Like pretty much everything that has happened on the show is in the comic, with the exception of the stuff with Damien Darkblood, how season 3 ended. Because like I said when I reviewed this season finale, that was part of an arc that Robert Kirkman decided to scrap. So first time it will ever be seen by anyone. All right, so I got a few movie stories. And the first one is simply this. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, begins filming August 1st. So don't know how much of Spider-Man Tom Holland, the individual, is actually going to be in, because he is currently filming The Odyssey. So they are probably going to pull a Mandalorian with this and have obviously one of his stunt doubles do a lot of the work and him come in and just do voiceover. And when they do things like that, I hope like the stunt person gets a pay bump. But maybe not. Evil Dead Burn has also begun filming. And that will be out July of next year as well. That's what Spider-Man Home Brand New Day, July 24th. While Evil Dead will be also July 24th. We also got a synopsis for the Clayface movie. And this came from the Hollywood Reporter. So it said that the movie will follow an actor whose face is disfigured by a gangster. And as a last resort, the actor turns to a fringe scientist for help. The experiment is successful at first, but things quickly turn horrific. So that sounds a little bit like the Clayface episodes of Batman the Animated Series with Matt Hagen. The only difference is I don't think he had a horrific accident per se. So yeah, I mean, it sounds good. Hopefully it looks good, and it's supposed to be rated R, so let's get to it. All right, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We are getting a Scream reunion. And that that's because Skeet Ulrich has joined the cast. So Matthew Lillard is obviously returning. And no idea on who Skeet Ulrich will be playing just yet. So hopefully we will find that out soon. All right, let's get into one of the final, 3 stories I have. The Last of Us. Some of you love it, some of you hate it. Some of you are just indifferent about it. It's getting a book. And everyone's like, why are we milking this? So Variety reported that The Last of Us is getting a script book with the scripts for part 1 and part 2. Written by Haley Druckmann in, I just fused those two people together. That's why I just had a brain fart. Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross. This will also have the script for the Left Behind DLC. And this will be released through Dark Horse Comics. Why is Dark Horse releasing a novel, an actual book? All right. So this is part of the statement released from Naughty Dog and Dark Horse. Relive every climactic moment in The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 scripts, from Joel and Ellie's time with Tess in Boston to Ellie's joy while petting giraffes, to Joel's heart-wrenching decision at the Fireflies Hospital in The Last of Us Part 1, then dive into The Last of Us Part 2, the dual's perspective story, including Abby's shocking introduction. Ellie and Dina forging a bond together, an enthralling encounter with the Red King, and the final showdown between Ellie and Abby. The 618 pages, 8x11 hardcover book will also feature a foreword written by Joel voice actor Troy Baker, an art gallery with work by developer Naughty Dog's principal's characters concept artist Hyung Nam, as well as a barkroom textured cover with new art and block printing along the page's edges that invokes the franchise iconic cordyceps fungus. This will be in bookstores December 16th, in comic book shops on December 17th. You can actually pre-order this now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or go to your local comic book store. And it's $54.99. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to cop that. And that's not a diss to The Last of Us, but I like the franchise, but I don't know if I like it enough to buy a script book. Like, I own one script book, and that is for Civil War, not Captain America Civil War, the comic Civil War, which Captain America Civil War was based on. All right, trailer reaction time. So Ice Cube has a new movie coming out, and it's War of the Worlds. So let's check this out. Also, the thing about this movie, everything is going to be taking place on the computer, kind of like what's the name of that horror movie that came out a few years ago? Was it Abducted? I don't know. Let's Google this real quick. Movie that takes place on a computer. Unfriended. That's what it was. Anyway, let's start this trailer. Universal, a Comcast company. All right.
Hey.
You are your data.
See, you took the Sunday graveyard shift again. Dad, when's the last time you left the office?
That's
okay,
classified.
He's spying on his pregnant daughter. It's time you understood the truth. They lie.
The surveillance industrial complex is collecting massive amounts of data with the Goliath program.
Okay.
Our most precious resource on Earth is data.
So is this not like Alien?
Superior intelligence.
What the hell is the superior intelligence?
Dad, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Can you tell
Okay,
yet what they're comprised of?
No, sir. I've never seen anything like this.
Why does she look familiar? Is that Diana Ramirez?
Eyewitness video is coming in from all over the world. Terrifying machines rising out of these meteors.
Okay.
Get away from that! Get out of there!
Okay. Okay, so it's still the same War of the Worlds, just a modern take on it. So here's my question. When does this come out for starters? Okay. July 30th. Okay, it's going to Prime, so I don't have to go to the movie theaters to see it. So, are the aliens eating our data? Is that what's going on? Because I don't know. Let's look at some of the comments on this trailer. Holy shit, man. Why is the plotline, casting, writing, acting, and CGI so bad? Who are the staff and what does corporate management look like? This looks so dumb. Looks like it's made straight to streaming rather than theaters. Because it is, you blue check idiot. Says it's going to Prime right in the description. I swear, people don't read. The Tom Cruise one is way better. Holy moly, son. Dad, I was stealing shit and there's these big robots things. Is they police robots? Yo, son, you can't afford to get pitched again. Okay, you're an idiot. I liked the concept at first, but then I realized how stupid it would be to think that our data has any value to an advanced entity. Imagine being the writer and thinking you're cooking with this. The amount of cocaine needed to think this was a good idea staggers the mind. Looks terrible. They did an episode of Modern Family like this. How did we go into reverse with CGI? The Tom Cruise War of the Worlds was more real than this. this is definitely going to be worse than the original. I remember feeling okay. For starters, you didn't watch the original. You watched like the third remake, unless you're like 105. You know how many times War of the Worlds has been made? But yeah, I mean, this is definitely so. When I brought up Heads of State and how John Cena said that the movie should have gone to theaters. Prime made a good choice of sending this straight to streaming. But yeah, this movie has been remade 7 times. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably not going to be good. But like I said, since I'm not paying to see it, I will do a review anyway. And speaking of Prime Video, they are adapting a first-person shooter video game into a TV series. Since, video game stories are all the craze, because comic books are slowly getting phased out, apparently. Wolfenstein is being adapted. I never played Wolfenstein. I just know you kill vampire Nazis. And how long can that go on as a TV show? Who knows? Because, they are still making Wolfenstein games. So I am going to, wait, are they vampires? So I'm reading a synopsis on Wikipedia. Wolfenstein is a series of alternate history World War II video games originally developed by Muse Software. The majority of the games follows William B.J. Blazkowicz, an American Army captain, in his fight against the Axis powers. Earlier titles centered around Nazi attempts to harness supernatural and occult forces, while the later games are set after the Nazis successfully implement various science fiction technologies to achieve victory in World War II. So, yeah, there might be vampires in one of them. Wait, don't I have this? Wolfenstein Cyberpilot? I feel like I bought this. It's a VR game. Like, I bought a bunch of VR games in a bundle. I'm gonna have to check. But the last Wolfenstein game came out in like 2019. I said I've never played a Wolfenstein game because I don't really rock with first-person games unless it's in VR, which I really do need to get back on my VR. No announcement for that just yet, as far as the release date for the Wolfenstein series goes. But hey, we'll get it when we get it. All right. This is my last story before we get into the review of episode 4 of Dexter Resurrection. So, I've been watching Rick and Morty for like the past decade, despite the fact that we only are on, season 8? We are getting our first ever Rick and Morty spinoff. And this was announced at SDCC. And it is based around President Curtis. So, yeah, the might have just been Dan Harmon and like some of the producers, because Justin Roiland was fired. They announced that President Curtis will be getting a spinoff, and Keith David, who is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, will be reprising his role as President Andre Curtis. So I cannot wait to check that out. And hopefully it's good. So I am actually going to cue up the spoiler alert. And I am going to talk about episode 4 of Dexter Resurrection. And this is called Call Me Red, directed by Monica Raymond, written by Alexandra Franklin and Mark Muzeski. So, Dexter meets Leon Prater, who is a venture capitalist who runs a secret society of serial killers, who has a large trophy room involving like John Wayne Gacy stuff, a lot of stuff on like actual serial killers, as well as Dexter's slides, which he bought from an FBI agent, in the table that Brian was killed on by Dexter in season 1 of the original series, as well as Arthur Mitchell, aka the Trinity Killer's hammer. Dexter finds himself bonding with the group, especially with Kirsten Ritter's character Mia, who targets serial predators who escape justice after, her sister was raped and murdered. Why is that going off? My phone is on Do Not Disturb. There are several other people in the group, including Lowell, who is the tattoo collector, who is played by Neil Patrick Harris. Eric Stonestreet is a serial killer by the name of Al, who is also known as Rapunzel. And David Dastmalchian is Gareth, aka the Gemini Killer. Also, Harrison is freaking out because in the first episode, the guy he killed, Brian Taylor, asked him to get his watch fixed, and the watch company called him finally, and he has the watch, so he's got like a telltale heart situation going on. And Angel shows up to convince Harrison to tell him the truth about Dexter. But Harrison's friend accidentally lets it slip that Brian Foster was murdered via the same way as the Bay Harbor Butcher's victims. And Batista goes to offer his help with the NYPD. And he also feels like it may be Harrison, but he doesn't snitch on Harrison. Harrison starts to feel guilt over killing Foster and being rejected by Elsa. He gets ready to turn himself in for killing Brian Foster, but Dexter stops him. So, this episode was great, honestly. You actually got to see Dexter be a little bit human, empathetic, feeling conflicted about killing the other serial killers. And also, finally, looks like he's finally trying to be a father to Harrison. Hopefully it's not just to like kind of put him under his killer umbrella per se, but hopefully they have some heart-to-heart conversations in the next episode, like sorry for shooting you in the chest and leaving you for dead in the snow. But I don't know, man. It's the weirdest father-son relationship I've seen in media in a good minute. But yeah, I mean, Uma Thurman really didn't do much in this episode. But what are you gonna do? Like I said, I like this episode. I was geeked out when Dexter saw his slides, and I was like, "Oh crap, he's gonna lose it." But I was not expecting Neil Patrick Harris to get killed after one episode. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, guys, that was another episode of the Angry Blurred Podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to w.gg. Use the promo code AngryBlurred10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. So, next week, episode 5 of Dexter Resurrection, as well as a review of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Peace.